Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on PrayerCommunicationWithGod.com. This week we've looked at Terumah, or the offering that elevates, and this is where God has invited Israel to bring their finest, gold, silver, fine materials for the building of His tabernacle. Now, at this time, they were still in the wilderness, so of course the tabernacle was portable. It moved with them. And they, each time, once it was built, they had to pack it up when they moved and set it back up when they camped. But this was to be God's dwelling place among them. And that's what He wants us to do. He wants us to bring Him our finest and create for Him a dwelling place here on earth. As we went on through the week, we learned more about the materials used within the tabernacle. We learned that it is a divine architecture of holiness. And we learned yesterday how this divine architecture of holiness can even help us in our time of grief. I want to talk with you briefly about grief, because most of the time when we hear about grief, we automatically just assume it's through the loss of a loved one that we're experiencing grief. But that's not the only time we grieve. If we've been in a job that we like and because of the economy they're having setbacks or layoffs, and we're one of the ones chosen for that layoff, we grieve for that. That brings us pain. It is a loss, and we have to go through the grief process just as if we've lost a loved one. Or even for children, they've got their favorite pet and maybe it passes. They have to grieve that loss. It's very real. And we don't need to get into the process of replacing, because you never can replace. That void will always be there. But you can help your child and you can help yourself learn how to move forward one step at a time. And in this divine architecture from the tabernacle, we see the curtains that they're supposed to use. Some blue, some purple, some crimson. And each one of these colors, when we take their names back to the Hebrew, symbolizes a sound that can be associated with grief. Because a lot of times when we're in the throes of grief, it just feels like our soul is being ripped out of us. But it is at this veil which separates the holy place from the Holy of Holies. It is at this veil, right on the other side of it, is the mercy seat. The seat where Jesus sits. And we can come to Him and we can say, I cannot do this. I can't walk this journey. It's too hard for me. He will help you. He will. He will embrace you. Everything that God has put in this tabernacle and later in the temple was a means for us to see that we can communicate with Him one-on-one. When we're in the throes of grief and we're having all these emotions at once and we're overwhelmed, tell God you're overwhelmed. Tell Him you're angry. He knows. He created you with these emotions, and He loves you enough to help you through them. Isn't that awesome? He loves you enough to help you through them. You are valuable to Him, and you're valuable to us. And I just thank you for being with us today, and want to invite you to come back and be with us again. Follow all of our posts every day, Monday through Friday, at www.prayercommunicationwithgod.com. And I'd like to close in prayer. Father, I just thank you for each reader. I thank you for each visitor to this group. I pray that you bless each one. I pray that the words in these videos, the words in these written posts, reach out and speak to their souls. I pray that it speaks life into them, Father, and that it gives them hope when circumstances around them just seem so dark. Father, may this blog, may this site always be a form of encouragement. May it always shed light, even if dim at first, in a darkened tunnel. May they see your light at the end of this tunnel and know that there's hope. And Father, right now I just pray for each one that is sick, each one that has a loved one that is sick, and I ask you to touch them with your healing hand. Father, bring healing to their bodies in the way that only you can do, because you are the God who likes to heal. You are the God of compassion. You are the God of mercy, and you even provided a mercy seat for us to bring our cares upon, Father. I thank you for your teaching. I thank you for the